Hi, my name is Bob Carroll. I'm the Executive Vice President at Permanent Solutions Labor Consultants. I was planning on talking about another topic today, but with the tragedy that happened on Friday in Aurora, Illinois, I thought it was important to bring up something that's very important to me: stopping workplace violence. Workplace violence is getting out of control in this country, far more than most people realize. What we see is what we see on the news: the tragedies, the big cases. According to OSHA, there's approximately 400 fatal incidents of workplace violence in the United States each year. Now, 400 might not seem like a lot compared to all the businesses and operations in the United States. But we still hear about these incidents. But what we don't really hear about is the other statistic that OSHA provides. We average about 2 million cases of workplace violence each year. Think about that, 2 million per year. I got some notes here. Okay? Out of 2 million non-fatal workplace violent cases, that equates to approximately 5,479 incidents per day, 228 incidents every hour, or 4 incidents every minute. If this video makes it to 10 minutes long, that's 40 cases of workplace violence as I record this video. Something's got to change. Now, as far as the incident in Illinois, I don't know all the details on what happened at that plant. I know it was a tragedy. I know some good people were lost. I also know that the individual that did this crime, this monster, was able to bring a handgun into the building. I don't know if the handgun was already in the building or he brought it with him. I know that he was aware that he was either about to get fired or was getting fired when he came into work that day. They're talking about somebody that never should have owned a handgun, never should have been approved to have a handgun, but that's besides the point. Were there signs that the supervisors or the people that worked around this employee knew about that could have been reported to make this go a different way? See, there are signs. It's very important that not just HR, not just management, but employees around them know and understand these signs so they can be reported. Workplace violence is becoming an epidemic in the United States, and no employee should have to go to work, be it at a restaurant, a hospital, a manufacturing plant, anywhere. They should not have to go to work worried about being a victim of violence in the workplace, and even worse, worried about returning home safely to enjoy their time with their family, that they're going to work to make a living, to support that family, and have an enjoyable life. See, there's 4 warning signs for workplace violence. Number 1 is criminal intent. Sometimes it occurs with an unhappy customer or client. But the last two are the ones that we should really be looking out for. Worker on worker. If you notice a worker bullying another worker, and you notice an erratic change in behavior, it's your job, be it as an employee, a manager, a supervisor, an owner, to report this. You don't want that in your building. You don't want things escalating to the point where we have another tragedy on our hands. And the last one is something that back in the day would not even be considered part of workplace culture. Back in the day, we were told, leave our personal problems at the door when we come to work. We can't do that anymore. Mental health awareness has got to be addressed. If people are having problems at home and you know about it, at least offer to talk about it. Sometimes your employees need to know that you are also a human being as a leader, and you're there for them as much as they are there for you every day. See, we don't know how bad things are for the employees unless we're communicating with them, unless we understand them, and unless we know what they're going through. And sometimes they just need a helping hand or an ear, someone to hear them out. Again, this workplace violence thing, it is becoming an epidemic in the United States. If you notice erratic behavior, people are acting hostile, that were never hostile before, all of a sudden you know that they're using drugs, they're drinking, they're distancing themselves from their friends, their colleagues, their coworkers, you might have a problem. If their performance at work, it goes from being stellar to substandard with no reasonable explanation, there might be a problem. If you know that they're having financial difficulties, if they're involved in civil or criminal litigation, or if you hear any sort of threat, and never brush a threat under the carpet, even if it is obviously a joke. There is no such thing as a joke when it comes to threats in the workplace. You got to get that out of your workplace. Everybody should have a workplace violence prevention plan. Unfortunately, as a labor consultant, I review policies and handbooks all the time, and I'm amazed at how many I run across that don't have a weapons policy in it. Or companies that don't even have a handbook. They don't even have a policy. A lot of the mom and pop shops don't. Well, it's worth every penny to put that structure in place to keep your employees safe. And on top of that, make sure that you are producing where people have the income coming in and you can keep your doors open. But today we're talking about employee safety. Again, I want to hit mental health real quick because it is a big stigma in our society and people are addressing it more and more, but we got to do better. You have to know your employees. You have to take it seriously. Again, I don't know exactly what happened in Illinois. I don't know the mental capacity that this murderer was in prior to the massacre that he committed. But I have to believe that somebody had an idea that he was a loose cannon. These things have to be reported and it has to be taken seriously and it has to be done consistently all the time, all day, every day.